Stop overcomplicating when choosing what flipping bait to use when you're on the water. Today we're going to talk about my top 3 flipping baits. These are ones that I always have rigged up when fun fishing, when guiding, or fishing a tournament. And they're all multiple use plastics for the most part. There's one that I use strictly for fishing sparse grass on braid. There's one that I use basically punching. And then there's one all around bait that I think everyone needs to add to their arsenal. Every one of these baits have caught me key fish, like I said, guiding, fun fishing, filming content, or fishing tournaments. So as we're going through this video, I'm going to talk about where to fish each one of these baits, how I fish them, and why. So stay tuned as we go through here my top 3 favorite flipping baits. So starting off first, it's the Beast Coast Flippin' Delight. This one's in chartreuse pumpkin. It's not the color that I use all the time, but it does work when you're around a bluegill spawn and they have the chartreuse tail, so you don't have to worry about dipping the tail. Ooh, very pungent scent. It smells great. It has these 2 flippers. It kind of looks like a Berkeley Pit Boss if you are familiar with a Pit Boss, but this is the Flipping Delight. The Flipping Delight is one that I'm going to throw on like a 4/0 straight shanked flipping hook. I do like Gamakatsu's, the blue package. I think it was designed by Aaron Martins a lot with this bait, and everything is going to be linked down below to Omnia. But color set I like in this are going to be like the green pumpkin variations, Dirtbag, which is like a dark melon with some orange. Those are all great colors. But yeah, I'm going to flip this mostly around thicker grass, 50-pound braid, 1 ounce weight, 3/4 1 ounce weight, double peg, and I'm going to cast it out, let it fall to the bottom, soak it for a second too, just give it a couple hops, soak it, give it a couple more hops, and then reel back in and continue that process, picking through high percentage areas in the grass. So holes with hard spots or rocks, or if you're fishing like a weed edge and the weeds, let's say, are in 8 foot of water and your boat's in 12 and there's nothing where your boat is and you have a hard distinct edge, sometimes you might even want to throw it where you see that grass kind of have a weird angle or cut in it. That's also going to be another high percentage area for you to throw this with that heavier weight. I like the heavier weight just because it makes these tails kick really quick, and also the heavier weight is going to call for a reaction bite. So not always will they be feeding, but if it shoots by their face, you can get those fish to come out, snap, and grab it. And just a good way to put a few more fish in the boat if they're being a little funky with the lighter weight falls. All right, my second favorite flipping bait, and it's going to be basically on the same setup, but you can get away with 20-pound fluorocarbon as well. Seth Fighter used to use a 4/0 ringed hook with this. I have preferred a straight shank hook to this point. I haven't messed around with the ring hook all too much, but I need to. But I'm talking about the Craw tube, specifically big bite baits. This Craw tube is just a bite getter all around the country. Bass are going to eat craws. You can flip this underneath docks. You can flip it in laydowns, brush piles. You can flip it in sparse grass, thick grass. If I'm fishing on fluorocarbon, I'm opting for a 4/0 EWG style hook. I do like Hayabusas. Gamakatsu makes a really good one as well. And then my overall flipping setup, like I said though, is usually with 50-pound braid. Again, 5/8 ounce, 3/4 ounce, maybe a half if the grass is really sparse or they want something falling real slow. Now the cool thing about a Craw tube is even if it's pegged, it'll kind of, all craws when you drop them or tube style baits will actually like rotate as they fall and spin around and do all kinds of crazy things. It's almost never a direct fall. And I think that's one of the keys of this bait getting bit. This one's sprayed grass. You really only need sprayed grass and green pumpkin in the big bite baits Craw tube. That one's going to put a lot of bass in the boat for you. Now, my final one and my favorite one that I've come to really, really like this past year, is new to 2024, is the Rapala Cleanup Craw. This is a multi-use craw bait, meaning that You can bite the head off of it, take these little sidearm pinchers off, put it on your favorite flipping jig, or you can rig it with like a 3/0 straight shank or a 3/0 EWG and flip it around grass. It goes through heavy grass really well if you want to punch it. You can skip it underneath docks. You can fish it in laydowns as well, around any type of cover. You can put it on the back of a buzz bait, a swim jig, and it's got little flanges here on the Craw there and kick a ton and move a ton of water for you. It's not something that you want to expect to fall fast, because these Craws are going to slow down how fast the bait will fall through the water. But if you add the cleanup Craw to your arsenal, guarantee you're going to catch some big bass. One of my favorite memories from the past year is actually the first day I used the cleanup Craw. I was putting it on the back of a flipping jig, and we were fishing brush piles around bluegill beds, and the bluegill were spawning around a full moon in July. And basically the cleanup Craw was the only Craw that they would touch on the back of a jig. I tried a bunch of different trailers, and I'm catching 15 bass basically in 15 casts. And I don't know if it was due to the scent, because after about the 10th cast, these pincher arms here on the backside were basically gone, and it was a nub on the jig and they were still biting it. So, but I really like the black and blue, green pumpkin or bruised color, straight green pumpkin magic. And if the water is super clear, don't be afraid to throw watermelon red. Those are all great color choices to add to your arsenal. Now, if you made it all the way through this video, you may realize that I basically named all the same colors through the flipping baits. And that is because you truly only need 3 or 4 colors. If you need to doctor them up, you can use Spike It marker and color up the arms or body of it. Blue, green, orange are all great ones to have in your arsenal. But yeah, keep it simple, keep it easy. Fish don't care that much about color, to be honest with you. If you keep it simple, you're going to catch more bass and you're going to stop overthinking things. So I hope you enjoyed this video about my favorite flipping baits, and I hope you can take these baits that you learned about in this video, if you didn't know about them, and put them to use in your arsenal and catch a bunch of bass. And like I said, all the links are down below. Link back to Omnia, so you can head on over there, click the links, save 10% with Serious 10. And we appreciate you tuning in. Smash that subscribe button and stay tuned for the next video.